Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, where we're covering Superboy #1 and the third and final story, Superboy versus Mighty Boy. Oh yeah, it's the match of the century. Well, not really the match of the century. This is a classic and, well, not exactly classic because it was pretty mainstay generic Superman story at that time. If you've watched enough of these videos, you know, like in the 1940s especially, and probably still in the 1950s, I haven't really seen many of them. There were these sort of like contest of three stories where Superman would be challenged to a contest for some reason. I don't know, they seemed really easy to write. They're not particularly very interesting. I don't like the contest to begin with, and it doesn't really focus on the stuff I really like from Superman. It just kind of gave him busy work and maybe something impressive to do with his powers, but not exactly all that impressive because it was usually pretty quick so they could get to the next contest. Not great action beats. That's my honest review of them. But some of them would have him go up against somebody who supposedly had superpowers. Almost always, they never had any superpowers, which just seems wrong to begin with. Superman and Superboy, to that extent, seem like larger-than-life characters that you really want somebody who can legitimately challenge them. So having them go up against someone who ends up being a fraud isn't all that interesting, even if they're losing each one by some sort of con. I don't think of Superman being a character who, when he reveals that a con is happening against specifically him, to be all that satisfying. Him stopping some sort of massive con on Metropolis or society in general is much more interesting. Not him. It doesn't really hurt him. It's maybe an annoyance at best. Though my version of Superman would be pretty good-natured about it. Who cares? So already, I don't particularly like this story or this type of Superman story. If you're going to go about with a huge, fantastical character, give him someone huge and fantastical to go up against. And I don't even mean that as an actual fight. Just have him be challenged by someone who is ridiculous like he is. I don't understand why we go through with the whole con and fake hero thing when it comes to Superman. Just go for it. So here we have Mighty Boy, and already your eyebrows should be raised because he's some farmhand. I don't even think we even learned his name. Maybe later, but I was making sure that we didn't get his name in the opening of this comic. They do not say his name for at least the first 3 or 4 pages. He is picked up by a guy who has a name. He's a promoter named Atkins at a local carnival, which is already a massive red flag. He's a promoter at a carnival. This dude is promoting fake things. It just is. He comes up with this whole fake thing, making the kid believe he has superpowers, and becomes Mighty Boy, one of the most generic names you can possibly do for a character. Though Superman's name is Superman, we're kind of used to it, but it is a pretty generic superhero name. I like Superman. It really gets to the heart of who he is. It still is kind of just a silly name, but it's silly for him. Mighty Boy is its own kind of class. I cannot really describe what my problem with Mighty Boy is in any satisfactory way. Maybe I would like him more if he was legitimately mighty, and we could really set home that silliness. The fact that he's a fraud the whole time just makes it all pointless to me. That's a me thing. So he ends up challenging Superboy to get like attention and probably future money by beating Superboy at 3 to 4 contests, like feats of strength, picking up a whole bunch of elephants, and that's the feat of strength. Mighty Boy beats him on how many elephants he can pick up at once, and say kicking a football as far as possible. Mighty Boy kicks his football into space. And of course, all this turns out to be fake, like the football has helium in it, though Mighty Boy kicked that football into the stratosphere. Maybe he does have some form of superpowers. I don't care how much helium's in that ball. If it has so much helium in it that it can get to the damn sky, it's not even going to stay down for him to toss it up and kick it. Or to stay in place to kick it. I mean, that's just weird science complaints. That really doesn't matter in a universe where someone can fly. But still, it's in space. Superboy figures this out eventually. It's not all that much of a problem. And the comic itself has to strive for some actual conflict. Yeah, this is conflict, but it's not a particularly interesting conflict, and it's not going to lead to an interesting climax when he eventually confronts them. So a bunch of criminals kidnap Mighty Boy, thinking he has superpowers. Maybe it should have been a massive red flag to them that how easy it was to put guns to Mighty Boy and take him. It's not easy to do that with Superboy. To make him commit crimes, specifically breaking into a safe. Luckily, Superboy has figured everything out and saves Mighty Boy from these criminals. even then it's not a great conflict at the end. But you see, it had to like strive for something to happen at the end, even with the contest of threes, or four in this case. And this is, of course, an under 20-page story, so everything I've just described, the contests, him doing things, the kid getting superpowers, him proving he had superpowers to get the contests in the first place, the challenging of Superboy, and Superboy having to save him all has to happen in like 10 to 15 pages. That is not enough room to tell any sort of satisfactory story, even if you had some good components to it. But as it is probably the weakest of the three stories, and I really hope this is the last time I see one of these stories. I don't like them. We can get into arguments about like mobster stories or other like small time criminal type stories that Superman deals with and how effective they are, especially in the Golden Age. But I feel that we can all probably be on the same page when it comes to him facing someone who is a massive con artist. I don't know. I think he should be dealing with Mr. Mixapillic. That's just me. But that is it from Superboy Issue 1, Part 3, Superboy vs. Mighty Boy. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when new videos up. I do this Monday through Friday, but Friday is Bat Friday. We'll cover a Batman story, either Detective Comics or Batman. And until next time, let's ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Boy of Tomorrow? I wonder if DC owns a registered trademark on Mighty Boy because of this issue. I doubt they do. I wonder how many Mighty Boys there are. I should have looked that up beforehand. Okay, have a great day.